Welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Alina Corrales, aka Blondie, and you're watching Simply Blondie, where I talk about pretty much everything and anything that is on my mind, from the very important stuff all the way down to the BS and everything in between. Hi, how are you guys? I was being irresponsible because I wasn't prepared for this show at all. And I gave myself more time, but for the last couple days, I have been exhausted. For what reasons, I don't know. I cannot give you a proper explanation as to why I've been so freaking exhausted. But this is another solo stream. I actually like doing solo streams from time to time. Not all the time, but from time to time, I do. Also, I want to kind of like nip this in the butt real quick. I would say last couple shows, I've noticed when I go back and look at my footage, I'm talking very quickly. I get nervous. I really do. I still get nervous whenever I do a live stream, and I can't help it. Like I said, I have a lot to say, and it just comes. Why are you guys being like this right now? Just get over there. Thank you. So I get nervous and I talk excessively, like really, really quickly to kind of like, I guess, process what everything I have to say. Cause like I said, I have a lot to say and I don't want to miss anything. So sorry about that. I do apologize. I get nervous from time to time and I'm working on it. I'm trying to slow it down today so that we can have a very chill, relaxed, low key stream where I'm just not stumbling on my words. Now, let me check who's in the chat. Oh, sorry. Hi, I actually saw you pop in when I was being irresponsible and kind of like fixing it. But hi, how are you? You see what's it called? Join the club. It might be changed. It might be the change of spring. And then he goes, I don't think you talk too fast. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I just like to kind of like put it out there like, hey, I kind of talk really quickly. And it's also because I'm Cuban and I was raised in a household where, hi, I was raised in a household where you have to talk fast in order to get your point across. So I picked that up in both English and Spanish. So I would talk super quick and I start stumbling on my words. So I'm just saying it like now before you guys like figure out like, wait a minute, why is she talking so quick? That doesn't make any sense. She's not in, Espanol mode right now. Anyway, um, so yes, once again, this is a solo stream. I know that it's kind of not necessarily off-putting or anything that I'm like taking some time to myself and just chit-chatting with you guys, chit-chatting with the audience and all that. I'm going to bring this topic up again when I actually do form a group in May. I do have already, not May, next week actually. I already have a group of people coming in to talk about two separate shows that I'm very excited about to talk about. And one of it, I'm going to switch it over real quick because I do not have this ready. So I'm going to pull my Renfield up again. That's gone. It's weird. Real quick. This lineup. So yes, the dates had changed. Is no longer the 19th. Today's the 420. Mondays is still the same. Is Tipping Culture Out of Pocket? That's one of the ones that I'm really excited to talk about. And then on the 27th, it's going to be about Disney live action. So some of these topics I am super excited to talk about, especially the tipping culture, because I have stories as a DoorDash driver. I have stories to tell you. I have several to share with you. So I am going to be bringing in people. So kind of like backtracking a little bit. So I will bring this topic back up and I will discuss it more. I just want to get my point across out first before I bring in people because sometimes I usually kind of forget about myself to kind of voice my opinion. So I would rather have my stuff out first, like my opinions about it, so that I can discuss it with you guys in the audience. And when I have people and I have this topic come up again and start talking about it, is when I'll let them have the floor because, like I said in my last stream, I want my platform to be more for people to have a platform to speak on certain things that is happening and kind of like voice their own opinions about it. And in no way, shape, or form are we going to bash anybody if they have a different opinion. So we're going to be talking about that. It's something, this topic, to be honest, has been on my mind for quite some times. So, oops, I closed that. Anyway, real quick before we get started, down below in the ticker down below, you will see my social medias. Have fun. You can follow me there. Get in contact with me if you ever want to basically join up, collab with me. You can get in contact with me on Instagram, which is going to be simply underscore blondie. Same thing with Twitter is simply underscore blondie. I couldn't get a single underscore, but I had to get that one. And then the clock app, which is going to be closing down pretty soon. It's simply blondie. So yeah, I do also have, if I can remember where I put it, it's not here. Let me upload it real quick because it should be part of my thing. So bear with me for one quick second. I'm like still like trying to figure out. I'm still changing a lot of stuff to my there you are. I'm still changing a lot of aspects to my channel because I'm gonna be doing a little bit more reactionary things here and there. But I do have coffee. This is the QR code if you want to take your phone, scan it with it, or if you're on your phone, you can. I will provide that information down below in my description down below. You're more than welcome to tip. I don't encourage it. Is if you want to, you can go right ahead. I just don't expect anything, to be honest, because I like what I do. It's fun. And I like talking to you guys, to be honest. This is more of my thing versus just making a profit out of something over whatever. But whatever is donated is going to help me grow my channel a little bit more. I am still in the process of making a Patreon, which is going to be coming out hopefully at the start of the summer. I have the page. I just haven't touched it because, like I said in the beginning of this video, I have been extremely exhausted. For what reasons, I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I wish I knew and I wish I can give you guys the answers, but I do not know why. I have been exhausted. So we are going to be talking about updates on the Jonathan Majors case. I might be making that thing into a series because at this point I've been talking about it so much lately that it's becoming something of the norm for me. Not necessarily the norm, but it's more of like I do like to have some form of input in a sense, quote unquote. So let's just get straight to it. Are critics ruining movie and TV shows? Now, this topic, in all honesty, has been like literally on my mind for quite some time. Not, occasionally. No, no, no. This has been something that has been on my mind for the last like 10 plus years. Okay. This has been something that, and I'm guilty of it too. Okay. I'm guilty of what I'm about to say. I'm guilty of originally back before I started doing all this, and I'm gonna say this now. I don't consider myself a critic. I really don't. I talk about my experience, like how I did with Renfield. I'm not trying to tell people, hey, don't go watch the movie, or hey, go watch the movie. I want people to form their own opinions about something. I talk about my experiences with the movies. I love going to the movies. It is some form of escapism for me. And I'm able to kind of like get away from everything that is happening around my whole, how everything is nowadays. So I don't consider myself a critic. I haven't considered myself a critic in a very long time because of the fact that I can like something and you can like not like it, and that's fine. But there are some critics out there that do take offense to it and they do belittle their audience for liking something that they don't like. And I had that first experience when I mentioned that I am not a big fan of the Need for Speed franchises. Like I've seen them, but I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not a big car fan. I've seen them, I enjoy them, but it's not a movie that I can go and be like, oh my God, I got to watch it again and again. It's just one of those movies that I cannot do it. I can watch it once and that's about it, and probably have it as background noise and nothing else, nothing less. Now, if you were to drop, let's say, like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, yes, that is something that I can watch on loop. I can have as background. I can recite some of the lines from time to time if I remember. And whenever it's available, I'll watch it. Now, there are some people that don't like Lord of the Rings because either it's too long or it takes forever. That's your opinion. That's not mine. I like them because it touches up on fantasy. It touches up on a lot of stuff that a lot of people like, fantasy and adventures, and just the whole not necessarily mythology, but like necessary mythology, but just overall that medieval like land or that medieval experience. It's like getting immersed in a book and then just like being there. Now, my thing is that I personally feel like you cannot call yourself a critic if you're gonna start belittling your audience for liking something that you don't like. I've had experience, not personally, but indirectly, I've seen some people come onto their channels, or they write something for like an insert piece for a different website or their own personal website or whatever, and they start talking about how much they hated this film, of how much it was so stupid and how much of expectation that was down the drain and this and that. And when one person comes in and they're like, well, I didn't see it like that, I saw it like this, I like the movie, I don't understand how you cannot like it. When that critic comes in and starts calling them stupid, like, oh, you're so dumb for liking this, I can't believe you're so dumb to even think that this was a masterpiece. And it's just like, wait a minute, I never said it was a masterpiece. I actually said that I just liked it. And I was just reading the comments back and forth between this one critic. And it's just like, I understand that you may not like what your audience has to say. But the thing is that you have to listen to your audience and in order to understand as to why that person likes it versus why you don't like it. Because like, going back to Need for Speed, it's a good movie. They're good movies. They really are. I'm just kind of fed up that they're going up to now 10. And it's just like, this franchise should have vanished after Paul Walker passed away. But they just keep on going with it to the point where it's just like, why? Like, why are you still making these movies? Like, I understand, like, now it's just getting to the point of being ridiculous and it doesn't make any sense. And then there's a lot of beef between different actors like Dwayne Johnson and Vin Diesel, and just the back and forthness. And there's like one actor which he doesn't get a lot of stuff, but he gets a lot of Need for Speed movie deals and all that. And it's just Need for Speed, Fast and the Furious. Why keep you saying Need for Speed? Fast and the Furious. Let me see. There are those who didn't like the 2005 King Kong because it was just too long. Yeah, that I get it. Like, I haven't really watched the newer King Kong. I've seen the older ones, like the original one. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And personally, like, I don't think it's long. I don't think some people who complain about lengths, like critics wise, like critics or whatever, because here's the thing is that they're not gonna vanish. They're gonna be here. We love them, we hate them, but at the same time, they're not gonna vanish. You're gonna have some good critics and you're gonna have bad critics. You're gonna have critics that are going to literally tear at the foundation of like fandoms. When it comes to lengths of movies, it's just kind of like, I feel like you've probably never sat through a James Cameron like Titanic movie or the Avatar movies. I can't even watch Avatar because I'm not interested. I have it on I go, ironically, I have like the Avatar, not like the last bender, like Avatar on DVD, and I refuse to watch it even though it's on Disney Plus. Even when I got it back when it came out on DVD before the streaming sites started coming, started popping up in like in like the 2010s, it was just more like I just had no interest. A lot of my friends love the movie Avatar, and I'm just like, literally, Avatar is Ferngully, the Ferngully movies. That's literally what it is. Now, is it like, oh, the extensive longness? No, it's just this has more storytelling and all that, but I can't get behind it sometimes. I feel like, people are going to have their own comments about certain things, and then people are going to take it to heart. That's why when it's like I said in this beginning of this video, I don't consider myself a critic because I want you guys to form your own opinions. I want you guys to go in and watch these shows or these movies and form your own opinions. There's a lot of shows that I fell in love with that had ended because of many different reasons. One of them actually was the week of my Super Mario, not the week of Mario, the week of, yeah, the first, I think it was the first week of March, or not March. What the hell am I talking about? My head is so far into the future. Give me one quick second. I'm just like, gonna move you over. Da, da, da. Yeah. So, so on the 7th of April, the show that I used to watch, which was called The Owl House, and it was a show on Disney, and they have moved it to Disney Plus. This show had only 3 episodes, and they were super long episodes for season 3. And the show got canceled because of many different reasons. People complaining about how this show promotes witchcraft, the I'm going to call it the alphabet mafia, basically, and just it was quote unquote not a good show. It was a really good show. I fell in love with it. I caught it in season one when it was on its season break for season one before coming out with the second half of it. Binge watched the entire thing, fell in love with the whole series, and I was so disappointed when they ended it because I was expecting more episodes out of it. The way they ended, yes, it was really nice. There was a lot of closure to a lot of different stuff, but obviously they had to rush through it. And the thing is like people get all pissed when shows that are considered good are taken out. Now, another show that I talk about frequently from time to time, and a lot of people are really surprised whenever I talk about it. We'll have full blown conversations about it. And I've been saying that I've been wanting to do this panel, and that's the DuckTales 2017. That is another show that got canceled, and people were at first saying that it was because of critics, because of ratings. It wasn't because of critics, it wasn't because of ratings, it was because of COVID. But people want to form an opinion saying that, oh, it was because the show wasn't good enough, nobody was watching it, it was on Disney XD, and anytime you put a show there it gets canceled. I'm like, not all the time, like not all the time. And when the show ended, yes, the show's ending kind of sucked. It killed one character's characteristics completely because of how much of a cop out the ending was. But still, that's my opinion. Some people who I've heard, they said they liked the ending a lot. That's on you. That's you guys. Please explain to me as to why you liked it that much. And maybe I can go back and rewatch it. It's pretty much anything and everything that we like, from King Kong to the Ninja Turtles to pretty much every little thing that we like. Somebody has to become a critic about it. Somebody has to say something about it. They get pissed when people don't like what they have to say. And this is why, like I've mentioned this before, I'm like, whatever happened to having an opinion about something without somebody getting pissed about it. And the thing is that it's that, and I don't like using this word because most people really don't know the true definition behind this word. So I'm just gonna call it the W word. People use it and weaponize it to the point where it's just like, oh, you're too this, you're too that. Well, okay, let's talk about it. No, no, I don't want to talk about it. It's like, why? Why don't you want to talk about it? Because to me, it bothers you too much that you don't want to have a conversation about why you didn't like this show, why it wasn't like up to your taste, up to not to say up to your taste or anything, or I'm not trying to tell you, but I'm just like, can you please explain to me? And maybe there was something you missed. What? The creator of Owl House also left Disney because of the whole Florida Bill thing. Yeah, no, that I do know. That I do. Diane, I forgot her last name, but Diane, yes, that was one of the reasons too, was because of the whole Florida Bill thing that I don't want to say his name, Ron, doesn't wants to take full control over everything. And there's this whole thing back and forth with Disney and him for quite some time, which I still laugh about that reverse Uno that Disney did on Ron DeSantis. And I just said his name, but whatever. This whole reverse Uno that they did, and it's just kind of like another thing about that robotic turtle. I'm gonna also add this in. There she also mentioned that, and she did tweet this a while back, that Disney, like the company itself, kept saying that nobody tweets about or talks about Owl House at all. And when it came to like the final three episodes, or like not the final three, but the three episodes that she was releasing every other month, people were tweeting it. Like it was one of the most talked about things that was on Twitter. So a lot of people are just kind of like, I personally feel like Disney probably shot themselves in the foot by getting rid of this show. And it's just like, yes. And then kind of like, no, because she did step away because she didn't want to deal with the whole Florida Bill thing. But anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. I just feel like when it comes to like critics, like yes, there are some critics that are good, but there are some critics that I can name it. Hold on, let me see. I can name a couple who hated Rise just because it was bad animation. Oh God, yeah, no. Let me see. I know, and Disney TVA admitted their mistakes. Yeah, that was the thing. That like for them to sit there and act like they nobody tweets about it, but you see people constantly tweeting about Owl House. You see the fan art, the fanfic, you see all this, the merch that people make, the art, basically everything. People are just like, oh, it's not popular. It's very popular. I fell in love with it, and that's my opinion. Some people didn't like the show, some others do. but people would always tear at fandoms for what reasons? I don't know. Now everybody wants to be a critic. Everyone is some form of a critic. They want their opinions to be heard. But if they hear someone that they don't agree with their opinions, it's like, oh, well, how can you not like that? Because everyone likes it. That's everyone. I'm not everybody. I don't like everything that everybody likes. And I'm not sorry to say that. I like things that people don't like. Or like, I'll give you another good example. I'm trying to think of one. The Sonic movies, okay? There are a lot of people that don't like the Sonic movies because they're like, "Oh, well, it's too this. I don't like the voice actor. I don't like the story they're going with. I don't like the director. I don't like how they're profiting off something that should be, cherished." Like there's people and I use this, but I try not to use it in a negative. There are people that are trying to keep something pure, and I call them purists. When it comes to books, comic books, anything that needs to be translated from literature to, cinema, movies, TV shows, it's harder to do that. So when they first announced that they were doing a Sonic movie, everybody was excited. I was skeptical because the thing is that when it comes to video game movies, at that time was very hard to do. Now, when they came out with the promo and you started seeing those long muscular legs and those weird looking face, it was just like, I'm not going to watch this if they don't fix this. This doesn't look like Sonic at all. I figured you're trying to do a close, realistic hedgehog to be like, oh, this is normal. This is not normal. This is a hedgehog that looks like it rolled around in radioactive waste and then turned blue and has these amazing superpowers now. That doesn't look like Sonic at all. When they went back, because even the director, Jeff, went back and basically tweeted, like, yeah, you know what we're going to do is that we're going to pull this project out, because originally it was supposed to come out in 2019. This movie then came out in 2020 in February. So it was just like, he went back, said, hey, look, we're going to fix it. We're going to make you guys, we're going to do right about fixing it. When they fixed it, they got a better result out of it, and a lot more people coming out saying, okay, you know what, this is what we wanted. Now, am I saying that I agree with some of the stories? There are some stories that are very bland, especially in the second one, actually. The creator of Sonic, before he left Sega, did not like that Sonic had two. Wait, what? Had two eyes? Wait. The creator of Sonic, before he left Sega. Oh, when they were separate. I was just like, wait, what? Yeah, when he had, I'm like, I gotta think back. I had to think back real quick. Sorry about that. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, wait a minute, he has two eyes. I forgot that they were connected. I was just like, oh yeah. See, I didn't know that. That I did not know. But I like but what I know is that, like I said, Jeff went back came onto Twitter and said, like, hey, look, you know what? We're just gonna fix it. We want to do right, and we're gonna fix it. Now they make fun of it, and they even used it in, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie, and just poke fun of it, calling it Ugly Sonic, because it was really nasty, it was really ugly. But it's just more along the lines that, yeah, I'm gonna go back to this one real quick. It's just more along the lines that, yes, people make comments. Yes, some studios do listen to critics complaining about certain things when they see something. But there are other times where people get pissed and they don't get what they expect. For instance, actually, is the whole the Marvels movie that's coming out. Everyone is complaining about everything. They're complaining about how it's the MCU, and they're complaining about how it doesn't make any sense as to why there's so many female superheroes. I'm like, there's always been female superheroes. This is something that I learned from my work wife. If you want to see more about her stuff, you can go check out her channel, Comics and Cosmetics. I will provide her information down below. You can check her channel. She talks about a bunch of different female superheroes, but female superheroes is nothing new. And people just want to complain because they're expecting something being like a carbon copy directly from comics itself. Thing is that, can you like literally imagine them taking things directly from comic source, translate it onto screen? Like, for instance, the whole, I would say, like, you know what, let's just use this one, since I'm looking at your stuff right now and I saw Rise right here. I can name a couple who hated Rise just because it was bad, quote unquote, bad animation. I can tell you this: if they had translated the Ninja Turtles from comic base from Mirage Comics of 1980 from 87, you're not gonna have the bodacious and cowabunga surfs up, dude. You're not gonna have that. You're gonna literally have turtles that are gonna be just bodying and killing everybody because when they first came out, they were not like how they are today, like friendly. They have their own personalities. A lot of them were like back then. It was just like we were just killing everybody. That's all it was. And that translation wasn't good during the time because it's just like, can you imagine? Like I said, can you imagine seeing your favorite Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello just slaughtering the Foot Clan every episode? It's like, are you serious? Let me see. Sorry, I got a phone call. I have to go. Have a great stream. Thank you. I will see you next time. But just imagine like how that would be, how that would just not make any sense to see your favorite turtles coming in, destroying everything, and that's it. It wouldn't make any sense. Yes, they have done it already a couple times in some form, like in other adaptations where they've had them cross over from other, other verses and all that, which is something new now. Not even new. It's been around for quite some time. Oh, let me see. If I remember correctly, Shredder even dies early. Yeah, he does. He actually dies relatively early in the comics. So it's just like if they had translated that, Shredder would have been killed a long ass time ago. I know they're coming out with the last Rowan video game sometime either next year or the year in 2025 or 26, one of the two, three. Everyone's dead if you've not read that. Everyone dies except for Michelangelo. And Michelangelo is literally fighting against not yeah, Shredder. Shredder's grandson. Not Shredder. Shredder combining Splinter, Master Splinter and Shredder together for some reason. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, Shredder is killed. His grandson wants revenge, and it's just Michelangelo versus Shredder's grandson. So it's just kind of like a lot of that translation, it's also censorship to people. Like you cannot expect everything translated on from paper to screen. And people get pissed. Especially like it's just like, in my opinion, I've said this already, you're not gonna get exactly what you want. And I know that people are already read into Shredder too. Oh, okay. It's you're not going to get exactly what you are asking for. And when it comes to critics, people, there's going to be somebody trying to keep something pure. They're going to try and keep whatever it is, how it is. And people are going to have an opinion about something, and you have to respect people's opinions. And the thing is like I go back and I repeat myself over and over. It's just kind of like whatever happened to having an opinion about something without being criticized, without being belittled, without being like, attacked or doxxed by people because they didn't like your answer. It's like, there has been like a lot of people that have gotten in trouble for giving out misinformation about certain things. And I'm not talking about movies or TV's show right now. I'm talking about like gossip magazines. Perez Hilton has got in trouble. Like, I believe he's got in trouble a couple times for giving out misinformation or being very critical about somebody or really focused and hyper fixated on a group of people for quite some time. And yes, he has mellowed out a little bit. There are critics in beauty community that criticize other beauty gurus right now. They're considered like the gossipers, right? There's always a critic in everything we love. And this also has a tendency to push people out of that community for a short time or for an extensive permanent time. Like I've been into the Star Wars community because of my dad. My dad showed me he showed me Star Wars movies growing up. I've seen the prequels. I've seen the newer ones. I am a bigger fan of the older ones and some of the prequels, like maybe the first one and probably the last one. But even then, it's like that's what I like. I like, what prequels and the older ones. The newer ones is like a hit and miss for me, even though they have some talented actors in it. But even then, it's like it's just a hit and miss. Yet people are just kind of sitting there thinking like, oh, well, if you like the newer ones, then you're not a true Star Wars fan. It's just like, how can you tell me that I'm not? And I've seen people tear each other apart based off The Mandalorian. This season, in my opinion, which I will talk a little bit about it because I don't really have a lot to say about it. I'm not saying that I'm super disappointed in it or whatnot. It's just more along the lines of there are just things about it that was like a miss for me. And I know there's a lot of hype for Ahsoka coming out. And I'm excited for that as well. And it's not because of Rosario Dawson, it's because of Lars Mikkelsen, who's playing the big baddie in this. I'm just worried that people once again are going to tear it apart. Like anything that you give anybody, everybody tears it apart. And that's like, do critics like ruin the experience? Sometimes they do when it comes to movies. You have critics that go in, have this self righteous attitude because they know that their followers are going to say something and they're going to follow their every whim. But then you have other critics, and this is like people that I've followed for quite some time. This is Double Toasted. You haven't heard of Double Toasted? I'm gonna provide their information all down below, so don't worry. I'm gonna be more responsible and put their information down this time. I've been following Double Toasted when they used to animate their stuff. Like when Corey actually went in and with a bunch of other people. I don't feel like Corey was the only one that was doing all the animation. But when he used to go in and just draw out every cast member that was part of it, from Corey to Martin, and like I forgot the other two because they're not there anymore. But when they used to do animations for Corey and Martin, I used to follow their stuff because yes, it would take time because they would sit down, they would draw everything out, and it was such a fun show. And yes, when they eventually started doing more of like live action, live action, more of like this and podcast style, it's more along the lines that, and I like the fact that Corey had said this recently. He's like, people, if you're going to go to the movies, don't follow Rotten Tomatoes opinions. Go form your own opinions about something. If you like something, you shouldn't be ashamed to go watch that. Renfield has a mixed review right now. People say that it sucks. Other people say it's amazing. Other people are saying this is boring. Other people are saying it's exciting. As myself, me, myself, and I had fun with it. I actually had fun with the movie. Now, is this a movie that I will go back and watch it again? At first, when I did my review on Monday, I said no. But the more I thought about it, it's getting to the point where I would go watch it again to see those little details again. Because, like I pointed out on Monday, I noticed a small little detail that bugged me for quite some time. And then they were so hyper fixated on another thing that it made me one think of, okay, they're doing a part two. They're gonna probably are hinting to a part two. And then two, it's like you couldn't do like the decency of like, or not the decency, but you couldn't like put at least like scarring or a bandage over it or something to kind of be like, okay, this guy got injured and that's it. You couldn't like cover it up because what I'm talking about is the fork to the neck scene in Renfield. That was a little detail that I noticed. And I feel like, yes, some studios think that audience don't pay attention. I do, because like I said, I love going to the theaters. It's an escapism for me. And I am very focused when I'm by myself because whenever I go to the movies by myself. And I'm very focused on the details of everything. I notice the lighting, I notice the dialogue, I notice the story, I notice like small little makeup details, special effects, and all that. I notice all that. And sometimes it does bother me. And I do mention it in my stream like I did on Monday. But those are little things. And kind of going back, yeah, it's getting to the point where I probably will end up going to see Renfield again. I mean, Mario right now is one of the movies that I want to go see again because I had fun. A lot of people said the movie sucked. They didn't live up to his expectation, but I'm like, it's been doing relatively well in the box office. So I don't know what you're talking about. But it's just like, critics are gonna be there regardless if you want them to. Yes, there are some that are gonna shred, like I mean, I'm repeating myself, but there are gonna be some that are gonna try really hard to destroy something that we like in any community. Now are they ruining it? Like I said, it's a 50-50 for me. And it's unfortunate that some people can't really take like an opinion to, they can't really take an opinion that much. So yeah, ah, so yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say. So I kind of got off my chest. So like I said in the beginning, like way in the beginning, I will bring this topic back in when I form a group. I do have a group, like I said, next week for 2 topics. But till then, this is just my opinion. So when I do that, when I do it, I will bring it up again later. Like I'll bring it up again and be like, hey, I already had my opinions. You can go check out my status down, go check on the link below. But yeah. So the Mandalorian, I keep saying review. I'm trying to figure out another word for this because, I have nothing else to say. Just review. I was like, I'll think of a word later. Um, Here's the thing. I've been watching it since the very beginning, like everyone else. Everybody, like, I'm still talking about critics and all that. I have my own little opinions. I loved it. First season, I loved it. Second season, loved it. Third season, it started to kind of teeter totter a little bit for me. Why? Well, let me just say this is that I don't know what it was that it started to bother me. I feel like it had to be I feel like it's for me, it started to become more predictable. Sorry, I'm like looking up something real quick. It started to become more predictable because the thing is that I'm sitting here. Yeah, okay, so it is 3 seasons. That's double checking that. Because the thing is, when it came out in March, I watched like 2 episodes in Florida, and they were entertaining. I stopped watching after the third episode, and I had to play catch up to the fourth episode. And I don't know what it was. Like I started to feel like, yeah, I'm noticing that it's more and more of a Grogu show than The Mandalorian or Din Djarin. I understand that Grogu sells. Like he sells merch. He sells shirts. He just sells merch. He's cute. He's adorable. When they ended it, it was just like, okay, he was passed off to, if you haven't seen it, he was passed to somebody else. He was passed to Luke Skywalker for him to be trained to be a Jedi and everything. And that's what we thought it was going to end. That we're going to just like, okay, no more Grogu. We're going to focus more on Mando, and that's that. We're just going to be like that. But the problem is that when third season came in, obviously you have to watch Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett was supposed to be literally about Boba Fett, but it turned into Boba Fett for like a couple episodes, and then it went straight to Friends and then the Mandalorian show. And then obviously we see season 3 coming in with, Mando and Grogu, but it's just like it's more focused on Grogu than anything else. Like I just feel like it's becoming Grogu and Friends. It's I don't know. Like, and I know the last episode I have not watched it. I was supposed to watch it yesterday, but I got super sidetracked with a lot of other stuff. But I know a major character dies, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I think I have a feeling who passed away because I'm starting to see this person a lot more than usual. And then, I mean, this was spoiled for me anyway. Um, Din Djarin adopts Grogu as his own, and I kind of sat there. I'm like, I had already figured you had adopted him like back in season 2, like not even season 2, back in like I would have imagined you already adopting his ass when he got his ass back. Like, that was your son. Like, everyone kept calling your son, this is your child, this is yours, the whole time. So I was just like, okay. And then the really end credit where it's just them hanging out. And I'm like, okay, this is not, I don't know what's going on now. Like, I have no idea what's going on with this show. Like, it's still good, but it's just like I feel like season three's story teeter-tottered a little bit. Like there was some good stories, there were some good fillers, but there was just majority of them were just some of them the stories were just boring ass stories. I will finish the last one today. Eventually. I will finish this last one and talk about it on Monday, most likely. So we will talk about that on Monday, not today. But for me, it's just this season in itself just bothered me. It was just I don't know. It was just for me, it was just boring because, like I said, I stopped watching after the third episode played catch up, saw the episode where everybody was complaining, which is going back to that critics thing. Everybody complained about Lizzo and complained about Jack Black, but then I didn't see that many people complain about Christopher Lloyd being in it. And I can imagine the arguments of being, well, Christopher Lloyd was Back to the Future. He's done sci-fi. I'm like, yeah, I can understand that. Jack Black is on the high on this roller coaster high of the Mario movies right now, being Bowser and having that awesome song Peaches up for nomination, could be is actually eligible for nominations for an Oscar. So it's just like, wow, Jack Black getting an Oscar for Peaches is amazing. And then Lizzo, who is a singer but not an actress, people are complaining about her, and I don't understand why people are feel obligated having to explain themselves. And she had to explain herself a little bit, and she explained that Star Wars is like near and dear for her because her father introduced the series to her when she was a little girl. Her father passed away, and she said that, if her dad was alive, he would be very proud of her for being a part of something that brought them close together. And I feel like that's a very touching thing. That's a very touching story, because that's the same thing with me. My dad is almost like my Darth Vader to my, Princess Leia, whatever. And it's like, he introduced it to me. I fell in love with the series. I kind of stepped away because obviously peer pressure kicks in when you get to school. Nobody likes Star Wars or fantasy stuff when you're in school because you're a nerd or a geek and you're trying to fit in. That social pressure is hot. And then you come back into when you get a little bit older. And that's how it was for me. Like, it was, a little roller coaster, ups and downs. And yeah, I love the series and the stories and all that. But it's just like, I'm like, damn, she has a legit reason as to why she's very proud of what she did, but yet people want to shit on her because, oh, well, she's not a fan. Really? Really? And I can't really justify what I'm about to say because, like, I seen it and I've experienced this, and I've experienced indirectly. Just there, people when they cosplay, like, and this is my opinion, okay? When it comes to Star Wars cosplays, I have seen so many half naked cosplayers, female cosplayers, dressed up as Darth Vader in a bikini, Boba Fett in a bikini. And people are like, well, they're a fan. Are you sure they're a fan? Or are they just dressing up as a character that they like, that everybody likes just to make that money? And I'm like, why are you like this? Like, because I've cosplayed and I've never, ever, 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 ever cosplayed, done a sexy cosplay other than Holly and Princess Daphne. But even then, I did their actual costume. Apparently, there was some drama behind the series for there. Apparently, there was some behind the scenes drama for this series. Oh, if you're talking about the fact that people were saying that Pedro Pascal was never on set for the filming of it, I feel like he did come out saying that he wasn't there because he was never signed on for the first season. They had someone else as him in the armor, but after it's just more along the lines that he just did the recording for the voices and all that after they signed him. Now, I know there's a bunch of other drama. There's drama within everything, especially with Disney Company right now. A lot of people were basically being fired left and right. The thing with Florida's bill, because I did mention this once, and I'm going to mention this again a little bit later down the road, not now, but with the Florida bill that the Don't Say Gay bill that's in Florida. There was one where Ron DeSantis was trying to abolish Disney's private government. Now, I mentioned this once to somebody and I almost got into a huge argument. And this is when I kind of like took a step back and looked in, is we all have strengths. I recognize mine. My weakness is comic books. I am not savvy on comic books. I used to read comic books, but I didn't read comic books like everyone else did. I read comic books of like Sonic the Hedgehog when there were Archie comics that you could buy at the grocery stores. But Marvel comics, DC comics, I was not allowed to touch them. I had two stepbrothers. They would bring their comic books over whenever they were at their dad's house, at my stepdad's house in California. I was allowed to look, but I wasn't allowed to touch at all. because I was a girl and they didn't want, and I was the younger one, and I was not allowed to touch anything that was there. So they'll get pissed, you know how sibling rivalry, not sibling disputes are. They'll start arguing like, "Oh, you ripped it." So I wasn't allowed until in my 20s when I started cosplaying is when I started getting into comics a little bit more. Now my strength is doing research. My strength is Disney stuff. So when I talk about self-government, here's the thing is that Disney had their own self-government in 1950 in yes, I love the fact that I still have everything that I was looking it up. I was just like, hold up, I know this. I know the answer for this. So a lot of people didn't know because it's the Reedy Creek, and this shit was established right before Disney Park itself was open. When Disneyland, like Disney, before he passed away, because he passed away. Reedy Creek is where are you, babe? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Because I know for a fact that this was passed because they actually had to go to legislation in Florida and talk with them, be like, "Hey, we kind of want to have our own government." The reason why they wanted it, yeah, there we go. In 65. Is it 65? No, hold on. Yeah, 65. In 1965, they went to legislation because they wanted to have their own basically little government where they would take care of everything. That's basically what it is. They have their own post office. And a lot of people don't know this about Disney World is that they have their own post office where you can write a letter to Disney themselves, send it over. Like you can send a wedding invitation to Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, or anybody. You can send a letter to your one of your favorite characters and get an autograph in return and a letter from them in return. People didn't know that. A lot of people don't. They have their own police force. They have their own firefighters. They have their own paramedics. They have their own living situation. The reason behind this self-government was because when Disney was still alive before he passed away, he wanted to have a utopia where people can live together. And unfortunately, he did not get to see Disney World when it opened in 77. Yeah, 77. In 1965 is when they bought the land, and then also in 1965 they was it 65? I'm like, I sound like I'm questioning myself right now. It's like I'm questioning myself. I think it is 65. In 65, they went to Florida legislation and basically asked, like, hey, we want to do this. We'll maintain everything. We'll keep the roads clean. We'll collect the garbage. We'll do all this. We'll make sure the landscaping is all, fixed beautifully. Now, I'm not gonna get into too much of it, but that's pretty much okay. What I mean, yeah. So, like, a lot of things with Disney was happening, and a lot of changes and all that. Most cons I've been to is SFW cosplays. Close things I've seen was Dantana. I'm gonna be very frank, very blunt. I've seen the Zantanas. There is not a lot you can do. Like, there's a lot you can do with Zantana. There is a lot you can do with her. But like, I've gone to conventions where there are female. I think it's just a Florida thing for me. You know that now I think about it. A lot of conventions I've gone to was like, Florida SuperCon before it was sold to what was it, Red Pop or Ren Pop, which is the ones that deal with New York Comic Con, like the big conventions. It's Reed Pop. There you go, Reed Pop. I used to go to Florida SuperCon, MegaCon, MetroCon, Alcon, MesoCon, Hero Hype. I went to once. What was the other one? I'm like, UltraCon is one that I actually went to, and I actually did work with them for for a year, and that was about it. No complaints, actually. It was actually a really fun experience, to be honest. But there's the thing is that there are people that do sexy cosplays. Now, I wish I had a photo of this. I have to go to my friend's thing. I have cosplayed once, and I just remember it wasn't really sexy though. I did a fusion of Cammy with Zangief, and Zangief wears like, what's it called? A Speedo. Basically, he just wears a Speedo. Cammy wears like the leotard, but it's like almost designed in like the 80s leotard, where just high cut, you know, leotard. I did a bikini and it was freezing. So I did like a red bikini with the fur trim. I had the scarring and everything. I don't know. But the thing is that, like, going back, it's just like for people to say that, oh, she's a big fan of this, and this, I said, how am I supposed to know? And the thing is like when I was mentioning that, I also did think back about when I cosplayed as Albert Wesker. I've cosplayed as Albert Wesker, and I've had one individual follow me around the convention the entire time, just questioning me while I was walking around, and I could not enjoy the convention. I could not enjoy my costume. And it just got to the point where I just like I didn't want to cosplay Wesker ever again. Yes, I understand that Wesker's costume for Resident Evil 5 is very close to like the Matrix in a sense. If you've never played the fifth game, you'll think, oh, this person's dressed up as like Trinity or as Neo or something. I had a group of people walk by me and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe someone still dresses up as the Matrix. And I'm like, I'm not dressed up as the Matrix. I'm dressed up as Albert Wesker, like female Wesker. So it's just kind of like, it's like a double, and when I think about it more, it's like a double-edged sword, to be honest, because going back to Lizzo, it's just like for her to have to justify that she's a fan, showing pictures of her collection of Grogu, it's just like, why do we have to constantly, say that we are a big fan of something and then just the constant back and forth? And yes, everyone is entitled to their opinions, but it's just like, why is it that I have to show that in me as a female? Why is it that I have to show my credentials of like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of this, I'm a fan of that, but then I'm not believed? Is where it gets to the point where I'm just kind of like, okay, what's the point? But then when it comes to the opposite sex of me as a male, it's just more of like, why is it that he doesn't have to prove himself as a fan? Like, I don't understand that. And I understand like it's like people when they ever see this, it's gonna be like, wait, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like like I said, it's ugh, for me. But yeah, going back, wow, I am like, I don't know where the hell I went. Mandalorian, like I said, I have to watch the last episode and let you guys know on Monday. Be a little bit more organized though. I will be a lot more organized than I am right now because I was exhausted. And usually when I do solo streams, I don't have anybody to stop me. So thank you for no one stopping me. All right, so last thing before I actually signed up, which I already knew this was gonna be a slow, like a so Jonathan Majors, real quick. So when I talked about him on Monday, I mentioned that there is a possibility that Marvel might recast him. And I wasn't aware that the agency that he was part of, Entertainment, I think Entertainment 360, if I'm not, let me double check, 360, had dropped him. And now more people, more now 4 hours ago, because I'm actually looking at like the news feeds right here on my side real quick. Two two movie pictures has dropped them as well. So I don't know. I really don't know. And I've said this already that Jonathan Majors is a fairly new actor. He has actually started acting in 2017. And a lot of times when your career launches so rapidly, like something grows so quickly, the faster you go up, the harder you fall. And I don't even know because now this is going to court. Now more people have come out and said that he has allegedly assaulted them as well in the past. So now this is actually going into court. Now has this been proven that he's been, anything has happened? Not yet. Nothing has been proven yet. There has been questions about the footage of proving his innocence. His attorney has came out and said that yeah, this has can prove his innocence, even though the previous woman that has filed the complaints on him on the 28th of March, they were dropped after, like I said, more people are coming out saying that they too have been a victim of Jonathan Majors. Now this is actually going to court, and I believe the court date is in May. If not, I will let you guys know on Monday just to double check, because I was following this for a little bit. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, whatever. But it's bad. It really is. It's actually relatively sad because of the fact that, I mean, we just got him in Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man and the Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man and the Quantumania, which I haven't seen this still. I still got to take the time to watch it. But Yeah, I shoot. Now, if this is all proven true, then yeah, he needs to, pay his dues. If this is all false and he's proven innocent, I personally feel a lot of people owe him an apology. Now, people are also speculating because the thing is that Disney hasn't dropped him yet. I feel like they're waiting it out a little bit to see where exactly this is going before they make a decision, because with they mentioned about James Gunn of how they got rid of him so quickly, and then all those things that was said that weren't true of what he, all the tweets that he made that were years ago, or and other other stories that were coming out about him that weren't true. It's like, oh shit, we kind of messed up, we kind of burned the bridge with this one director, now he doesn't want to work with us anymore. This is something that I feel like if Disney were to drop it, I feel like it will blow up in their face like very quickly. So I don't even know anymore. So yeah, like I said in the beginning, I might cover this a little bit more. So I might try to get much more information and kind of give you guys like a timeline a little bit. But I'm gonna still stay. I'm not gonna get form an opinion at all about this. I'm trying to stay neutral about this whole situation. Let me see. Learning from their mistakes with Johnny, yes. And that's what I'm hoping it does not turn into, because it's literally going to be turning into another Johnny Depp and AH case where it is just a back and forth thing. And the difference between that is that AH got to keep her role and the Aquaman movie, while Johnny was just dropped left and right from a bunch of big pictures. And I know for a fact, if I remember correctly, um, Disney had it not publicly, but they have apologized to Johnny for what they've done by dropping him, and they have been trying to bring him back to do more like Pirates of the Caribbean movies with Maggie Ryans or they're basically I know it's Harley Quinn, but they're trying to bring him back to do like Pirates of the Caribbean movies again. And it's just kind of like, once you burn a bridge with somebody, don't think they're gonna come right back. Yes, there's some actors that came back. Like I'm now hearing that Scarlett Johansson apparently is coming back to film 3 Marvel movies. And I'm thinking like, I thought they burned bridges, but I'm like, well, I mean, their thing was about pay. That was the only thing that we're having issues with, was just pay. It wasn't really anything major like Jonathan Majors right now. Now, like I said, I'm trying to stay neutral about this. I'm gonna continue following it, but yeah, I feel like it's gonna end up turning. I didn't want to say this, but it's just like, yeah, it's gonna turn into another Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, because it's just, you know, the back and forth thing again. And we haven't really, as a community, other than seeing tweets, it's all it really is we just been seeing tweets about it back and forth. We haven't seen the footage yet. I want to see the footage, but usually that doesn't happen until like it goes to court, because now since this is entered into court, it's now we're gonna have to literally wait and see what's gonna happen. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, I personally, yes, I do agree. They've learned from their mistakes from the Johnny Depp thing. I really do. I never really answered this one though. I'm one of them, to be honest. I was one of them when it comes to the hating on the Rise of the Ninja Turtles. It wasn't the animation. It was the reason why I didn't really like. I didn't watch Ninja Turtle the Rise of the Ninja Turtles right away. Keep that up. The Rise of the Ninja Turtles right away was because of the fact that when it came out at such a weird time for me, like mentally, that I couldn't bring myself to watch like any form of animation, even like how even the amount of animation that I love, like how I have such respects for animation. I just couldn't bring myself to watch The Rise of the Ninja Turtles at all. When I finally sat down is when I watched the movie, is when I saw how the art style was, how each of the turtles have their own personality. And we were talking about this when I did my a while back when I had I believe it was Phil and Purple Freckles. We talked about it just a teeny tiny bit. We talked about it a little bit. And I said I'm gonna do the Ninja Turtles panel in August before the movie comes out because I really want to talk about it. But the one thing that it took me now to realize is that each of the turtles has the personality of the actual like turtle they're actually based off. So, for instance, Robotic Turtle, if you're still there, you notice that Leo, he always bites his brother. So, Red Redditor sliders, when they want to show some form of dominancy, they bite others. They bite other turtles to show dominancy over everyone. So when I saw that little detail and like I kept seeing Leo bite either Donnie or Mikey or Raph, it's like, or primarily Donnie, it was him showing dominancy over his brothers every step of the time. So I was just like, okay, with Mikey going to his shell, that's something that a box shell turtle does when they get scared. They retract in. So I just like the fact that a lot of the personalities they had. So I started liking the animation style after a while. Let me see. I didn't like that Nickelodeon waited a year or more to release it as soon as the CGI series ended. Rise. Oh my god, the ended. Rise released and was blasted. That's the thing with everything. It's like everybody, like for instance, the 20, if I'm not mistaken, it was the CGI one. That's the one that you talked about it. As soon as the CGI ended, Rise released and it was blasted. The CGI, I remember that people blasted that. And that's why I kind of stopped watching the Ninja Turtles for a little bit. Because after I think 2003 is when I watched it, because that's when they had Raph as the Night Watcher. And I loved that. And that's when I started liking Raph a lot more. When the CGI came out, I didn't like how it looked, and I said, "You know what? Like, I'm just gonna back off because this is not my turtles anymore. This is the younger generation's turtles, so I'm not gonna watch this one." When the Rise came out, a lot of people switched over and said the CGI was better than the Rise was, and they blasted the Rise. And then when the Rise ended, people got were like obsessed with Rise, and they're pissed with Nickelodeon because Nickelodeon signed that series for 7 seasons and they never got it. Like they only got up to 2 seasons and that was done and the movie was already in the works cuz when they signed up and started working on it, they started working on the movie as well. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I said, well, yeah, it's kind of sucks that, we only got 2 seasons and only one season's on Netflix. The other season's on Paramount Plus. We talked about this on Monday. And we really can't, we have, in order to watch that one, you got to go to Paramount Plus. Let me see if this is the one that we're talking about. People hated the 2012 series because the Turtles had 3 tails, April being a teen and Splinter being tall. The turtles always had 3 toes though. That's what I don't understand. They don't have like 5 toes. They always had 2. They always had 3. They always had their little hands. So their hands are like that. And they had little toes too. I don't understand like that. I think also with April, I think it was also her obsession, like her crush she had on Donnie. Because I mean, that was the one thing that every show that I watched of the Ninja Turtles, they always pushed April onto one of the turtles. It was either Leo or Raph. It was always one of those two. They always had 2 toes. You know what? You're right. They've always had 2. I'm thinking about the hands. They always had 3 on their hands. So yeah, the toes. You're right. Okay, I'm wrong. I like how often do I look at turtles' feet? It's like how often do you look at turtles' feet? I don't look at turtles' feet, but you're right because I just had a flash. I'm like, wait a minute. Yes, the hands that they have, like the 3. But with the 2013 the 2012 turtles, I think also because now people make used to make fun of the fact that April has this weird crush on Donnie. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm always used to, like I said, them pushing April with Leo or with Donnie, not Donnie, with Raph. It was always those two that they would always push her in. But when they pushed her with Donnie, people were like saying, "Oh, she's obsessed with him, this and that." And I'm just like, she's a kid, she's a teenager. What do you expect? Now with the Mutant Mayhem, people are flipping out that Leo is being not necessarily ship, but they're making it canon where Leo and April, because you see in the banner, a heart with L and A. on it, and people are losing their shit. They're like, "What are you talking about, Leo and April? Why is everybody, getting all pit?" I'm like, "Why is everyone shipping Leo and April?" I'm like, "They've been doing that for quite some time. They've been doing that for quite some time, and this is kids. They're teenagers. Kids have a crush on somebody for a short time. It's always puppy love. Let it be." Let me see. Another thing that people didn't like was the height difference between the brothers. Are you talking about Rise? Because I actually liked that a lot. Like I absolutely loved the height difference. Because I mean, with the show in 87, they were all the same height. They had the all same personality, everything. And then when they started giving them like, different personalities, different voices, is when I started liking it more and more. And with Rise is when I started to kind of appreciate it a little bit more, was the height difference. Mikey being a little bit smaller than everybody, then Leo being like, which they put him at 5'5", and I just started laughing. I go, I'm 5'6", so I'm an inch taller than Leo. That's awesome. Raph being like, I think like 6 foot, 6'7" or something like that. And then Donatello being like not six, 5'7". So a couple of, I'm sorry, but the height difference. Why is that such a big deal? To be honest, it's like there's no big deal of having height difference, because if we're going back to when it was a comic book series, they all wore red mask. Like all three brothers were all three brothers, all four brothers wore a red mask. It wasn't until like 87 is when like they started getting different color masks so people can tell the difference. Other than the weapons, that's the only way that I was able to tell was the weapons. People couldn't tell, like, oh, which one is Donnie, which one is Leo, which one is Raph, which one is Mikey. Eventually, they gave them their own different colors. No, the 2012 version, my grandpa absolutely loves the Rise version. Being different, different made it more easier to tell them apart. Oh, okay. The 2012. Okay, that does make sense. But no, I see. I gotta watch the 2012. I know it's on Netflix, and I have it saved. Like I'm gonna watch it eventually. Like I'll give it a chance. I'll give that show a chance. I'll give it a chance. I have to watch it. But The Rise, I liked it. There's a lot of goofy, like little jokes here and there between the brothers, but that's boys. That's usually like how the turtles are. They weren't like that in the comics, but throughout the time they've been on TV, they've always been like that. They've always joked around. That's how brothers are in real life, like how siblings are. They play jokes on each other. They make fun of each other. They pick on each other. It's just like that's that's what it is. And when it comes to height, it's like, yeah, it's a good way to tell the difference, made it a lot easier too. To be honest, yeah, it made it so much easier for the younger generation to understand the difference, because like Raph being like and also they changed up the lineup of who's the oldest, like Raph being now the oldest and the leader when they first started, and then having Donnie second, Leo third, and then Mikey always the baby, and being the smaller one is what made it different. It was just like Mikey being little, and then Raph being this big guy who thinks that you think is gonna tear you apart, is gonna give you like the biggest hug because he's such a sweetheart. But it's just like Jesus. Let me see. Speaking of weapons, people hypocrite. This is the turtles use magic, even though both. Yeah, there's just a lot we got to talk about. We got to talk about this. Okay, so speaking of weapons, people hypocrite. We hypocrite. Yeah, since they hated that the turtles use magic, they've always used magic, even though between both O3 and New Mutants use magic. O3, O3, O3. That's the one that I actually did like when they introduced They've always used magic though. That's the thing, is that they always use magic. That's why I don't. The one thing that I can tell you this right now before I sign out was they've always used magic. Like always, it's always been introduced somehow, some way. They'll introduce magic somehow in the show. The other thing is that this is the one thing that a lot of people didn't know, and I didn't mention this, is that some people automatically got pissed when they said that, oh, April is going to be this young black girl. And I wasn't like, that didn't phase me at all, because I saw Rise and I saw April there and I loved her there. I love that April. I never liked the Aprils that we've had throughout the years. The white April, I've never liked her. Thing that I learned was that she was never white. She was mixed. She was biracial. And the thing is that she has this dark curly hair, and she is based off one of the co-creators of the series. Her name was April too, that she had passed away from cancer, and she was mixed. So I'm just like, April only became white was because during the 80s they needed a female lead that was, white. Like that was the only reason why. And so when they announced that, oh, April's gonna be this young black girl, that she's gonna be, I'm like, she's gonna be a little thicker. I'm like, she's a kid. Girls go through puberty. We blow up. We get thick because our bodies are changing. You see it in the trailer. The boy, Donnie's voice is changing. Mikey has braces. Raph is put like a little, a little chunky himself, and he has acne, like he's breaking out. Leo is very self-conscious and kind of like, he's, to himself. That's all things I went through as a kid. So it's just like, I don't understand if you were expecting like perfection, like a perfectly already grown up, because that's half of the time. I understand they try to make the turtles seem like in the cartoons as kids, and I feel like the closest they got was with Rise. With the other ones, I feel like they were already like in their late teens, going into like their, almost going to 18, 9, their almost adulthood. When it came to Rise, I feel like it was a little bit more closer to how teenagers act. Yes, they were all voiced by grown ass men in their 40s, but they still gave that personality of kids that are just going to be teenagers, of going to do stupid stuff, having, one playing, be that, like Leo, being that cocky individual who thinks that he's better than everyone, and having that, and I think you mentioned it too, having was an inferiority complex where he thinks that, hey, like I'm better than everyone, I need to, show my stuff. Mother, okay, it was actually perm in the comics when I didn't like Rise April at first. Then I started liking her when I watched the show. When they announced April for Rise, I go, actually, you know what? I never really saw the announcement. When I saw her in the show, I was like, at first I was like, who's that? Like, is this a new character? And then when I heard the name April, I was like, oh shit, they made her like, okay, I actually do like this. I go, I actually like this one. This actually feels more comfortable, more. I actually feel comfortable with this April, to be honest. I feel more comfortable with this one. The other ones growing up, the 87 through the 87 on the first Ninja Turtle show, I didn't like April at all. I did not like her at all. I understand she was a news reporter. She's everyone's like, cartoon crush and everything. I understand that. I don't want to like, but I did not like her at all. I did not like her. I did not like her in I didn't like the Megan Fox one that much. I didn't like I have seen clips of it, not a lot of it. And I got to watch it to see, maybe I can form a better opinion about it. But the 2013, the 2003, like it was just the movie ones, I'm going to be honest, the movie ones I actually did like. Not to like, oh my god, I love her. No, I actually liked her a little bit because she was more, I guess, in a sense, grounded. But the ones for Rise, I actually did like when I started watching, like when I watched the movie, I was just like, okay, this April means business, and she doesn't need the boys to like save her all the time. That I do like. That I like a lot more versus having an April where you're constantly having to save her from, peril in every single way. And then I think the other thing that a lot of people didn't like was they didn't like how they made Cassie Jones. Cassie Jones, or because, oh, it's supposed to be Cassandra Jones in the Rise. How they made Casey Jones from the future being the son of Cassandra Jones. Everybody lost their shit about that one. I don't know. I personally took me a while to figure out. I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't you guys like that? It actually was a weird twist, but still. She was more, I don't know, than the other versions along with Donnie. Okay. Donnie for a long time I didn't like. I'm just gonna be very honest, and I need to save all this. I gotta write this all down. I did not like Donnie until Rise. I felt Donnie was boring as hell. Like, I severely thought Donnie was just boring to the T, boring as hell. Like, I understand he's the brainiac, and I understand that no one really takes him serious from time to time. I know that everybody loves Mikey, everybody loves Leo, everybody loves Raph. I was one of them who liked, and my thing for both older, like for Leo and Mike, not Leo, Leo and Raph, like fluctuated back and forth because obviously I started off with liking Leo, and then in 2003 when they did the movie the Rise of the Ninja Turtles, which is that CGI movie that they did with Raph being like the Night Watcher, is when I started liking Raph a lot more. It was a great twist. I thought the whole time I thought she was until we watched. Oh, really? I heard when I heard Cassandra Jones and they kept saying Casey Jones and I looked it up, I was just like, oh, that was a good twist. I actually liked it, but people lost their mind. But my thing for Raph kept switching back and forth. And then when the Rise came out is when I started liking Leo again. And then when Donnie came in, I was like, okay, now I like Donnie because now he's more tolerable. Because now I'm just like, but yeah, no, Cassandra, yes, that twist was one of my favorite ones for them. Because a lot of times they make Casey Jones just, yeah, he's a crime fighter just like the Turtles. But this one, they made her crazy, part of the Foot Clan. And then when she realizes how messed up the Foot Clan is, breaks apart, does her own thing, and then obviously you see the movie for the future, and she has a kid, which I'm just sitting here like, who did she hook up with? So let me see. My younger brother likes Donatello just because the purple was his. Aw, that's cute. That's cute. I liked Leo and I liked Raph a lot. And it was like I said, it was fluctuating back and forth. I liked Mikey. Everyone like Mikey was young. He was the youngest one. He was the voice of reason. Because you always have like the four. You have like Leo being like God, the face. Then you have Rav being the muscle, Donnie the brains, and then you have Mikey as the heart. He's the one that brings everybody, together and all that. It's adorable. But oh, hello. Hi, how are you? Let me see. Hold on real quick. Do you have any top 5 films you're interested in? Several. I have several films. So I don't know if I can classify this as summer movies right now because they're coming out next month. I have several. So I'll just tell you real quick. So, and ironically, the ones that I'm going to mention, I'm going to be doing a panel about them next week on Thursday. I'm going to be talking about it. Um, so Guardians of the Galaxy is one of them. The Elemental is another one. The Haunted Mansion, The Little Mermaid is coming out, so I do want to see The Little Mermaid. And I'm trying to think of another one. There was another one that was like right there, and it's just like poof, like you're not gonna get that one. Oh shit. Let me give me one quick second. I have to look it up now. Now you just threw me off. Threw me off. But yeah, no. So Little Mermaid. Let me put the year. It'd be awesome if I put the year. Thank you. Because I know. Oh, Into the the new one that's coming out. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is another one that I want to see. That's what it was. I was like, where I know, and I kept seeing I kept seeing stuff for it. Let me see. Because I don't know. I don't think Barbie's another one. I'm gonna be very blind. Barbie, I want to be that person. That's another one. I'm just like, I'm gonna go watch and Indiana Jones. So but yeah, Little Mermaid, Haunted Mansion, The Elementals, the Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem is the one I didn't mention. Spider-Man, Across the Multiverse, right? I did it. And what was the other one? Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So that's some of my movies that I'm really excited to see. Yes, I guess, yeah, because it lands in May. So I mean, yeah. But yeah, but the thing is that the ones I just mentioned, I'm going to be talking about those movies next week because I feel like Disney has gotten way out of hand with um making live action films every single time for everything. I'm getting my thing real quick. Give me one quick second. I'm gonna look. Where did I put it? Is this it? No, that's not. It's Egon. But yeah, maybe one quick second. I'm trying to find something and I don't remember where I put it. I have everything like scattered everywhere. No, that's not even touched. This one. Weird. I only have it here. Damn it. That deletes my background though. Put my background back on. There we go. So right here, if you just stepped in, I'm about to step out. The dates I'm going to tell you right now. The 24th is going to be Monday, so I'm going to keep my Monday. The 26th is now the 27th. It's going to be Disney live action films. Is it too much? Are they making too many Disney films? Oh God, yes. It's going to be epic. And I'm going to tell you this. I've watched the first one like I don't know how many times, and I catch little things here and there about it. And I just can't wait. Now, if you guys did not know this, actually, I just saw this today. They now have on Disney Plus coming out tomorrow these Spider-Man movies, which was something that has been like missing from the Marvel archives that they have there. It's now on Disney Plus. So now I'm like fingers crossed for Spider-Man into the multiverse being added there too, which I mean I highly doubt it's Sony products. So I mean they have Homecoming and they're gonna be putting up other ones soon. So I'm just like, you don't know, we won't know, but yeah. But no, I just can't wait to see. I really can't. I can't wait to see that one. And then also the Little Mermaid movie is the one I can't wait to see. The Indiana Jones. There's just a lot that I have to take the time to actually go look through again because I'm just like, and there's also Blue Beetle, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna vanish because I've been talking way too long. Also, before I go, I'm gonna mention again on Monday because I forgot to mention this in the beginning. I am gonna be coming on starting in May at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, not 4 p.m. because I feel like four for me is just pushing it a little bit too much. And I need to give myself some time to come in. So I'm going to be going for 5 p.m. That way I can have less sun coming in, even though the lighting looks great. And I'm going to be streaming on Mondays and Thursdays for now. Like I said on my Twitter, if you follow me on Twitter, let me show you one more time. If you follow me, you can follow me here. Personal banner. Thank you. You can follow me here down below on my socials. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, as well as the Clock app. Twitter, I've been going on a little bit more frequently, and I open up the conversation for everybody to join me on one of these amazing panels. Today was a solo one today because I just wanted to do a solo one. I wanted to be by myself for a little bit. I also wanted to get my opinion off my chest before I start inviting people in. That way they have more time to share their opinions, their opinions themselves. So yeah, follow me on Instagram, simply_blondie, my Twitter, simply__ twice, blondie, as well as on the Clock app, it's simply blondie. I am going to take off, but yes, starting in May, instead of 4 p.m., it's going to be 5 p.m. instead. So that way I can give myself some time to get ready and give everyone else some time to kind of sneak on in, come in, check it out, and then kind of like vanish soon after. So I'm going to go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. For the people that came in and out, I got to be more proactive about promoting this and a little bit more proactive about making banners. I'm kind of lazy right now because I've been tired. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I will catch you guys on Monday. Same channel, same place. Please like this channel, subscribe to it, hit that bell icon to be notified when I come back on. And I will see you guys Monday with my panel. I have to double check with them, but I'm going to be having my friend KA/ back on with me on Monday, hopefully, to be talking about, well, we're going to be talking about tipping culture and is it getting out of hand? So I'll catch you guys next time. I love you guys. And also, please, please, please be kind and rewind. And I hope you have a rest of your great day.
Goodbye.